You might know Lea Thompson for her famous roles and her bright screen energy, but there's a whole side of her story that gets ignored when old photos pop up online. Some people share those images just to stir reactions, but the real story is way more interesting. Watch till the end because I'm not just talking about photos. I'm talking about what happens when the internet drags the past into the present, and why it matters. Sometimes older images of celebrities resurface and suddenly everyone acts like they just discovered something huge. In Lea's case, people often point to early photo shoots and bold swimwear looks. The captions get dramatic fast. But here's the truth. Fashion and photo trends change, and what was common in one era can look shocking to some people later. That doesn't mean it was wrong. It means times changed, and the internet loves to pretend it's the judge of everything. What's important is how we talk about it. There's a big difference between saying, "This was a bold look from a public shoot," and turning it into a crude joke. Lea is a real person with a long career, and those images don't define her. They're just one small piece of a much larger story. If we only focus on how much skin is showing, we miss the point completely. Now let's zoom out. Lea didn't become well known by accident. She worked hard, trained, learned the craft, and built a name over time. That's something people forget when they look at an old photo and think they know the whole person. Picture is not the full story. A career is built by showing up again and again, taking risks, and proving you can do more than one thing well. And Lea has done that. A lot of early celebrity photos come from professional shoots, film moments, or public appearances where styling was part of the job. Sometimes the looks were playful, sometimes daring, sometimes simply what the trend was at the time. When people call it too much, it often says more about the viewer than it does about the person in the photo. Confidence can make some people uncomfortable, especially when it belongs to someone they think should be quiet, modest, or easy to label. There's also the issue of how quickly the internet turns someone into a headline. One old image gets posted with a loud caption, and then it spreads. People react without thinking. They share without context. They comment without respect. And suddenly, the person in the photo is treated like a topic, not a human. That's not fair, and it's not even necessary. You can talk about pop culture without being mean. And here's the part that actually makes this interesting. When older photos resurface, they start a conversation about how we see women in entertainment. For years, women were expected to look a certain way, pose a certain way, and accept a certain kind of attention as part of the job. Some embraced that, some fought it, and many had no choice. So when you see those bold looks, instead of rushing to judge, it's smarter to ask, what was the culture like then? And what did people expect from actresses at the time? Those questions lead to real understanding, not cheap laughs. Also, let's give credit where it's due. Lea has stayed in the public eye not because of old photos, but because of talent, charm, and work. People return to her performances because she's memorable on screen. That's the kind of legacy that lasts. Photos go viral for a week. Real work lasts for years. Now I promise something at the end, so stick with me. The biggest takeaway here is simple. If you only look at old bold photos, you're letting the internet pick the story for you. But if you look at the full picture, you see a person who built a career, adapted, and stayed relevant through skill and effort. That's a much better story than any clickbait caption. If you want more videos that look at celebrity moments with respect and real context, like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment with the next name you want covered. And share this with someone who loves classic movies and pop culture, because these stories are always better when we talk about the full truth.